Hey there, internet, moment of honesty for you. I have pretty much hated the live action remakes that Disney has been making up to this point. Moment of honesty number 2, I absolutely loved The Jungle Book. I'm Johnny B, and welcome back to Critical Hit. So, you know how we do around here. The hits. First and foremost, this movie has the most unbelievable CGI I have ever seen in my life. Not only do the creatures' fur and character models look super real, but their actions, the way they speak, which seems bizarre because they're animals, but it looks real, the way they move in the world and interact with each other, the way that Shere Khan and Bagheera fight each other, and even the scenery all looks like, I'm not kidding, it's real. It will blow your mind and is worth seeing for the technical aspects alone. Plus, the CG is responsible for, I'm not kidding, the cutest animals ever put to the screen, and that is the wolf cubs that Mowgli grows up with. They are just so stinking adorable. Hit number 2, Mowgli. That would be like the main character little dude, in case you don't know. But seriously, have you never seen the original Jungle Book? This whole movie is full of the voices of really talented A-list actors, but it is this little 12-year-old kid from, I think, Brooklyn, New York, named Neil Sethi, who steals the show. He has that playful energy, whimsy that a kid living with a bunch of jungle animals would have, assuming of course that the jungle animals aren't trying to kill him. But at the same time, he incorporates that gravitas and kind of somber nature and sadness that brings a lot more realism to this film as a whole. It's kind of the perfect balance of taking the original character and turning it into someone who seems like they could actually be a real person. And finally, the third hit, just like Mowgli takes the original character and makes a better version, the film as a whole takes the original film and makes it better. You will find in this movie pretty much every moment from the original animated Jungle Book that you want to see, including, kind of unfortunately, I Want to Be Like You. That was the one part I didn't really think fit. But overall, this takes the fun musical The Jungle Book and incorporates some real danger, some real plot development, some real thick characters. You actually understand why Shere Khan wants to murder everybody and he's terrifying. Like seriously, sinister savagery out the wazoo. And just as a result, the film feels more balanced, more fleshed out, and what the original film could have been if it weren't made in 1967 and just an animated kids film. But of course, no movie is completely perfect, and that is what brings us to the crits. A lot of people might disagree with me on this one, but I did not like just how many celebrity voice actors there are in this film. I am someone who responds very quickly to a voice, and I recognize it and I associate it with a person. So to hear people like Bill Murray and Idris Elba and Giancarlo Esposito and Christopher Walken and Scarlett Johansson playing these characters, I had such a hard time distancing myself from just thinking of the actors. Sure, this won't be a problem for everyone, but for me it was just distracting enough that I thought I would mention it to you guys. I kind of miss the days when voice actors in popular films were just completely unheard of voice actors. Second crit, also not that big of a deal, is the use of narration. Now I understand The Jungle Book is a book, and thus it kind of makes sense that someone would be reading the story. So I'm not opposed to the use of narration overall, it's the fact that it's used very inconsistently and at seemingly random times. Bagheera, voiced by Ben Kingsley, is the narrator, and after the opening setup, it kind of just seems like he throws in random comments here or there, without any purpose. Fortunately, unlike a lot of films, this doesn't rely on narration for the story to make sense, it's just kind of an unnecessary add-on. So really, not that much to criticize, which is great. Before we go, a few quick other bits. First of all, this movie is very, very intense. I already mentioned that there's more drama, more intensity, more animal savagery, and as a result, it's not really a kid's movie. Sure, there are moments that your kids would love. Baloo is fantastically funny. The wolf pups, as I already mentioned, are really, really cute, but it's terrifying. There are a few things that I could describe only as jump scares, especially where Shere Khan comes in and attacks super duper fast, and then there's like wild animals trying to kill each other. If I were under the age of 7 or 8 at the earliest, I would be kind of terrified. And the second other bit is that Disney knows this is going to be a nostalgia trip for a lot of people who grew up watching the original film. And as a result, they did this really cool thing where they actually hand-mated the opening castle logo to look like the original Jungle Book animation. And it's just a little touch kind of thrown in there, but I thought it was cool and worth mentioning for you to look out for. Plus, don't want to spoil anything, but the closing credits also include another little nostalgia punch, and it makes them totally worth sitting through. So in short, I really, really, really liked The Jungle Book. It's gorgeous, it's well acted, it's funny, it's intense when it needs to be, it tells a good, coherent story, and honestly, I just wish that there were more movies like this right now. Because even though it's technically a remake, it's unlike pretty much anything that's come out within the past few years. It is totally worth seeing, assuming your kids can handle it, and and I would give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Really not much to complain about here. Pretty much every critic and fan would agree with me. So if you enjoyed my review, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next video, because I'm pretty sure I'm reviewing Captain America Civil War. Follow me on Twitter for any other announcements, random thoughts, or humorous things I might say, and I'll see you next time on Critical Hit.